This is the Coach Maz Show, presented by Griffins baseball alum State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Murraysville. Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Alex Hetrick is there. Here's Dan Flickinger and the head coach of the Seton Hill Griffins, Mark Marizaldi.
The Griffins go for the series victory here today at home as we welcome you to Seton Hill Baseball and the Coach Maz Show. The Griffins winners yesterday over Slippery Rock 6-2 and 1-0, and now they're back on the friendly confines of the Hill. And Maz, we have a lot of things to get into as we usually do, but I have to start out by asking you if you've ever seen one of your games end on what looked to be a base hit to right field. Max Mandler comes up with it and fires a strike to first base for the final out. So for those scoring at home, that would go as a 9-3 putout in the book. Have you ever seen that before to end a game?
No, I have not. I think that I have only seen that twice in my entire life live. When I was in Pony League, when I was 14 years old, one of my teammates got thrown out of first base on a single to center field. Needless to say, he was pretty slow. And I did see it one time in college about 10 years ago, where our right fielder was playing like incredibly shallow.
Was it Cody Harold maybe? I think I might remember that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Have been. I know Cody and Max remind me so much of each other. They, athletically and just the way they play right field. Cody liked to show off his arm too. The funny thing about that play, Dan, is Max has been practicing. I don't want to give secrets away, but Max has been practicing that for about the last 3 weeks in practice. The guy hit a single for Slippery Rock earlier in game one. He hit a routine single to right field, and Max came up and tried to throw behind him when he made his turn. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome to see. Like I said, it's a weird play. I've certainly never saw a game end that way, but it was fitting. Pretty exciting way to end it on a defensive, play at first base after a fantastic pitching performance by McCullough.
Yeah, especially when you had a 1-0 lead too. That's pretty crazy. That's something we'll remember for a while. But I do have to start with your pitching, obviously. Brandon Berger goes 5 1/3 innings, gives up 2 runs. Mike Marinchak kind of puts out a little bit of a fire, did a great job of closing that game out, Maz. And then you mentioned game 2, Johnny Mack, 4-hitter, 7 strikeouts. He's only allowed 1 earned run in the last 14 innings, and I know you've been looking for more out of him, and it seems like the last 2 starts he's given you that.
He certainly has. I mentioned this to the team and to John after the game. That's the best game that I can remember John pitching. Especially maybe the magnitude of it. He was really, really solid in the postseason last year, but as far as like commanding a fastball and just pounding the zone and being, velocity, everything, that was the most confident, dominant performance I've seen from John in a really long time.
Talk a little bit about, I mentioned Mike Marinchak, and, he has been so dependable for you, I know, throughout his career, but especially this year, losing Caden Wood. I feel like he's kind of slid into his role that Caden filled last year and has done really a remarkable job coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he's versatile. Over the course of his career, he's been more than capable of being a starting pitcher. We just had some other guys in that role, and he was kind of, I guess if we had to give him a term, he'd be our leverage guy, right? Like we can use him to close, we can use him early, we can use him late, we can use him for 1 inning, 3 innings. He's just such a valuable piece. He's so confident no matter what situation we bring him into. And he's been able to bounce back, and we've used him multiple times in a week. He's not a starter, he's not a closer, but man, he's got such a valuable role for us.
Evaluate your hitters. You had that big inning in game 1. You went up against obviously a really good pitcher for Slippery Rock, 9 hits total, but then just 2 hits in game 2. What are some of the things that maybe you liked from your hitters and some of the things that, you still are trying to get better at?
Yeah, I thought we had a really good plan against arguably the best pitcher in the league, Gage Gillott. I thought when he elevated the breaking ball, we just didn't miss a mistake. Some of our bigger hits, our extra base hits, came off of some sliders. We just kind of abandoned that approach in game 2. Malik was really, really good. Might not have thrown as hard as Gillott, but he was a fastball breaking ball guy, and what allowed us to be successful in game one. I really don't know why we got away from it, but it was pretty obvious. We became a lot more passive at the plate in game two. Um, Sometimes maybe it's better to be lucky than good. And it's funny, Waylon had put down an absolutely perfect bunt, trying to bunt for a base hit, and their third baseman Olson made an incredible barehand
I
play to
saw
throw him
that.
out.
Yeah.
And then, just a few innings later, he comes up and he swings and almost hit the same exact ball. And Olsen made an error, and it turned out to be the pivotal game-winning run. So baseball's crazy sometimes. But yeah, offensively, we were kind of two different teams there. How often do you get two hits and win a baseball game? I mean, that's so rare. So hopefully we can get back to what made us successful, which was kind of hunting mistakes and capitalizing on stuff in the strike zone early in counts.
When we talked at the beginning of the year on our season preview, you mentioned you thought the PSAC, especially the West, would have a lot more parity. And that's how it's playing out right now. I mean, IUP's in first place, Slippery Rock's in fourth place, and there's only 2 games separating both teams. I mean, right now, conceivably, Slippery Rock could finish in first, IUP could finish in fourth. I mean, who knows what's going to happen here with, I guess, 6 games left. So, again, this is kind of how you saw it playing out.
Yeah, it's fun, huh? It's a little different than last year. I think this time last year, we pretty much had clinched and knew exactly where we were seated and had an idea how the rest of it would play out, but whole different this year. Yeah, not surprising. I figured IUP and Slippery Rock would definitely be much improved, and they are. I was hoping we'd be near the top of the standings, and we still got a shot, like you said, Nan, over the next 6 games. Anybody could be in and anybody could be out. I think maybe one or two teams may have eliminated themselves, but it'll be a very interesting last week and a half here.
Yeah, Cal U still, the odd team out right now, but not by much, in fifth place. So
And I think
really tight right
I
now.
think Cal plays Mercyhurst next week, or no, they play
IUP
Miss.
plays Mercyhurst next week.
Yeah, that'll be
So
a big
there you
one.
go. That's going to be massive, obviously. So we'll see how that plays out. Talk a little about the games today, Maz. You guys have certainly Aiden Layton on the mound in game one. I mean, he has been really, really good this year. Dino Vecchiola, are you looking for more length out of him today? I know that he hasn't really pitched a whole lot in terms of his individual starts. Haven't gotten a ton of length out of Dino. I was looking back, hasn't gone into the 5th inning since the series against Mercyhurst. What does he have to do to be successful today, and what do you expect from your number one pitcher today, Worm, as well?
Well, I think Leighton just needs to go out and keep things simple. He's such a competitor, and I think he likes to take the team on his back and try to carry us. And hopefully, we give him a little bit more support than we have the last couple of weeks. But he threw it, yeah, one of his best games against Clarion last week as well. Hopefully, he continues that momentum. In Dino's case, you mentioned he hasn't had really long starts. Part of that has just been his inconsistencies. The other part of it too has been we found ourselves in game four situations where we still had a loaded bullpen, so why not use it, right? So a combination of maybe Dino falling a little bit short, but us also having more resources in game four that we felt like we could use. And Dino seems to get off to a good start and kind of hit a wall. Sometimes it's been the fifth, sometimes the fourth. So what we're looking for from him today is just 3 solid innings. Anything beyond that, I think would be fantastic and a bonus, but we do have some fresh arms and a kind of fully stocked bullpen, having only used Marinchek yesterday. So 3 innings from Dino and another competitive quality start from Worm, I think will at least give us a chance to go after the series win.
And finally, we are bringing back our Tony Romo for the broadcast today. Logan Vittmeyer makes his triumphant return. Did you get a chance? I know you've been busy. Did you get a chance to catch any of his excellent insight a couple of weeks ago?
He's pretty good, man. I don't know if you've made if you've contracted him and made him an offer to be a Westmoreland Sports regular, but yeah, he's pretty awesome. It's just so cool to have somebody who's still so connected to the program, right? Like just less than a year removed, he knows all the ins and outs, and he can give some really behind the scenes insight. You should put him on hockey or hoops and see how he does with that too.
Right. I mean, I think he would do well. I mean, he stepped right in there, man, and just boom, boom, boom. He was right on top of it, not just for Seton Hill, but he was giving us scouting reports of opposing pitchers too. So
Lot
I'm
of-
sure he'll have notes on the two guys you guys face tomorrow too. Maybe you can collaborate with him.
Well, he was such a cerebral
Mhm.
player, I mean, competitive as all heck. But he really had a kind of higher level view of the game and really understood the ins and outs. And that's awesome that he gets to share those views on air.
Yeah, yeah. Can't wait to get going here today. Maz, thank you. Good luck, and go get two more and sweep the series. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks, Dan.
That is the Coach Maz Show presented by State Farm agent Alex Hetrick in Delmont. Thank you so much to Al for getting us set up and ready to go with his sponsorship of our show each and every week. We will have first pitch for you coming up in a moment with Sean and Logan after these messages.